guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. My name is Ashley and I am so excited you stopped by to watch today's video. Today I am going to be giving you guys our Q1 homeschooling update for our 6th year as a homeschooling family. I cannot even believe it. And someone, if you've been around my channel for a while, you know her name. And she does not like me to film alone, nor does she want me to move her when she is so comfortably taking a nap on my bed. So don't be alarmed, she's alive and well, she's just not willing to budge. And so I left her there because I have a window of time to film today and I didn't have 30 minutes to try to get that dog off my bed. So there she lays. Let's ignore her. I was gonna scoot over so you guys couldn't see her, but then I just figured, they know about Dorothy, so there she is. So anyways, today we're just gonna chat, you guys. I have been doing these on my channel for a very long time, and you all really seem to enjoy them, so I continue to make them. I get on here and I do an update every quarter, so 4 times a year, and I just talk with you guys about how the quarter went, anything that stuck out, anything that's really, I don't know, worthwhile talking on. I don't go every detail of our homeschool life, but I just touch on kind of the major things. So that's all today is going to be. So I hope you guys enjoy listening to me talk homeschool. And of course, I want to know how your quarter has gone, or if you're already beyond Q1, or how it is going. Is this your first year homeschooling? Are you a veteran homeschooler? How is it going for you this year? Let me know down in the comments. So I've got my notes here on my phone of important things that I wanted to talk about with you guys, and well, you know, important for a homeschooling update, and I am just going to jump right in. So before I give you guys the lowdown on specific things that I felt worthwhile to update you on, I do want to just say that this was the smoothest and easy and joyful start to our homeschool year we've ever had. I think that there's a lot of contributing factors after I've spent some time reflecting on why did this year just feel so good to restart our school year? Why is everything just going pretty much very smoothly? I mean, that's not to say there haven't been little things that I've needed to tweak or adjust, but in general, it has just been a very, very, very smooth start to our 6th year of homeschooling. Why was that? Well, I think there's a lot of reasons, but I think the biggest reason for us is that in the midst of the craziness of our current world, homeschooling was like getting snuggled up in a warm, cozy, familiar blanket. It gave us structure, it gave us purpose, it gave us familiarity, and most importantly, and I really don't like to use this word, but there is no other word to describe what I am trying to say, it gave us normalcy. I really, really try to keep my kids' day-to-day lives as normal as possible, and I was in our break time, we were traveling a bit, we were, you know, I was running a lot more errands, I was doing some shopping, you know, there was just a lot of things going on, and I felt like we were out a lot more than usual. Normally, that's fun for a period of time, but right now it's just really not fun to be running errands and shopping, in my opinion. I'm not enjoying that like I usually do. Hobby Lobby and things like that with the kids, it's just not fun like it once was, and I just use those stores as examples, but you know, you guys understand what I'm saying. So with us restarting our school year, of course, I have very strategic ways of getting my errands done and very planned things, and so I felt like we have been home a lot more, and home just feels good right now. Home is good and it's just felt really good to be home with my kids, learning and doing what we've always done. It's just felt really good this year. Let me know if you guys can relate. So I think we all have enjoyed the start of this school year a lot because of that. I also think that I don't know, by the 6th year, I've pretty much narrowed down to what works and what doesn't. I'm not still, every age of my kids brings on a new season of determining what is gonna work well for this school year. But I'm just saying, as a whole, I feel like I've worked out a lot of those kinks, and so, you know, we just eased right back in. It was a very smooth and wonderful start to the school year, and I'm super thankful for that. So that is one thing to update you guys on. We had a really awesome start to our school year. Another thing that I wanted to mention, and if you have watched my homeschool mom morning routine, which a lot of you guys have, so thank you so much for watching that video. That video has done really well. Then you'll know that this year I had to make yet again, and I say this jokingly, another personal sacrifice for the betterment of my homeschool. And that is just the flat out truth. I do not desire to wake up at 5:30 or 5:45 when I hit snooze. It's just not my natural time of wanting to be awake. But I knew that this year I had to do that. I had to wake up and I had to work out first thing in the morning, before coffee, before Bible, before breakfast, before anything. I literally roll out of where Dorothy is. I brush my teeth. I do brush my teeth. I get my workout clothes on and I go out into my garage and I work out. And I knew that I needed to make that change last year, but I just really didn't want to. And so I just wrote it out, and I was just unwilling, but I knew that that would have helped, but I just didn't want to do it because a lot of the work that I do on YouTube, I do at night after my kids have gone to bed. And so I naturally am up until 10, 11, sometimes midnight. I really tried to never go past midnight. Because even when I wasn't waking up really early to work out, it's not like I was rolling out of bed at 9 o'clock. I mean, I was getting up around 7 or 7:30. That is probably my natural time frame of waking up. But it just wasn't working out. So all that to be said, I've had to really discipline myself. That's what it is. It's a discipline. And I've had to make myself go to bed early, figure out different times of the day and days of the week and different systems for work on YouTube and on Instagram. I've had to really just tell myself, like, nope, you're going to bed. And I had to start doing that the week before we started school. So the week before we were starting back to school, I started doing that. And I am not even gonna lie, in the morning routine video, I don't go into detail about all of this, but I'm not gonna tell you guys, it hasn't been hard, because that week and about like 2 weeks after that, every day around 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, my eyes were so heavy. I was just not adjusted in the morning. I felt like I couldn't get a good workout because I wasn't really fully awake, and you know, I hadn't really warmed up, and I was just like groggy, and then I was almost talking myself out of it. Like, if you're not able to give it your all, then there's no point in doing it, and you know, all of this. And literally for about 3 weeks, every single time my alarm would go off, I would be tempted to push snooze. Every single time. It was so hard. And I know it sounds so silly if you're a natural early riser, or if you're just like a morning person who wakes up ready to conquer the world. I begin to conquer the world around 8 o'clock a.m. 8 o'clock, I'm ready to go. 5:45, no, I just don't like it. Like, it's like a joke between Jake and I, my husband. When we travel, when we fly, or even when we really drive anywhere, we wake up really early, and he just knows, like, he doesn't even really say good morning to me. Like, I just don't want to talk to anybody. I'm not a morning person, but I had to do it. I had to do it, and I knew that I had to do it. And you guys, let me just tell you, the amount of good that has come from that one simple decision of mine and that one new discipline is unreal. It sounds so silly to think like, oh, a time of day for a workout makes all the difference. Yes, it does for me, because that is a very big priority in my life. It's actually number 3 on my priority list. I have to do that for my mental health and my physical health. So what was happening last year was I was either starting school too late in the morning and dealing with not having enough time to complete everything I wanted to, or also my kids having too much free time in the morning was often leading to them arguing and getting into fights with each other. Then they were angry when it was time to start school, and you know, the first thing we do is Bible, so everyone's coming to the table angry, which is like wonderful, right? And I'm like, you guys are being hypocritical, we're reading God's word, and it's just a picture of wonderful homeschooling. So that was getting difficult. And then on the flip side, if to cure that, I was like, no, I'll just work out at the end of the school day. However, we had extracurricular activities that they all had to get to pre-COVID, and most of my kids are back in something. Some of them were able to stay in the same thing they were, and others we've changed just so that they're doing something fun during this time. That's another side thing. But anyway, I was working out on the end of the school day, and that was really problematic because if, you know, I had a hard day homeschooling, my mental energy is kind of down. I'm a little tired. I'm a little worn out after, you know, 5-6 hours of schooling with the kids, depending on the day we've had. Also, I knew that I only had about an hour of time before I had to start getting snacks and dinner together and kids changed and getting ready to head out. And so if a child was taking a longer time on something, I would never tell them like, hurry up, I need to work out. I would never say that, but in my brain, I would be sitting there calculating the time of like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to work out today. And then my workout would have to get pushed until 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night because I wouldn't skip, but it would just get like moved. So, and then I'd be out in the garage at 9 o'clock, and then I'd get like an endorphin rush after that, and I would be tired when I started my workout, but awake when I finished, and then I couldn't go to bed early, and it was like this vicious cycle. And the answer was, Ashlee, get your butt out of bed early, and I just didn't want to do it. That's just the flat out answer. I did not want to do that, and now that I am, hands down, one of the best things I've done for my homeschool. So that was a huge update I wanted to give you guys because that was a really big deal for me. Another thing that I wanted to touch on now, getting more into the specifics of things, are the books that we finished. So we finished The Trumpet of the Swan. I think that's what it's called, The Trumpeter Swan, The Trumpet of the Swan. You know the title. Love that book. How have I not read that book to my kids until the 6th year of homeschooling? I don't know. They loved it. We all loved it. We also have finished our first missionary story, which was on Mary Slessor. Amazing book. Missionary in Africa, talks about the cultures of Africa and the customs of that time. Very enlightening. Very, 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 very inspiring book. So we finished both of those books in the first quarter, and we're actually almost done with 2 more books. So we've really been doing well with our read alouds. And so 4 chapter books a quarter is a pretty good amount for me. That would mean that by the end of the year, we would have finished about 16 chapter books, that's a pretty good average. So we'll see if I can maintain that pace, but it's been really good. Another thing that I wanted to touch on was that I have decided now after quarter 1 to take a pause on the Good and the Beautiful history, and I am going to teach my children all about the election. They're all old enough now where I feel like they can understand and grasp some things, and I feel like we're living in a time where this kind of stuff is just, it's out there for them to see all of the time. It's in a lot of conversation, and so I figure what better way than to teach them about that. So I've had some books that I have held on to through the years that I've really just never utilized, and then there's also a free unit study from Sunlight that someone shared with me that I'm probably going to pull from as well. So we're going to take just a month, I think, and go over all things election, just how did it come into practice, what did, you know, all the different working things that elections require, and we're just going to take a little pause on that. So we are almost done with Unit 1 of History with the Good and the Beautiful. Not quite there yet, but I am going to take a pause on that so that way we can learn about the election. Another thing we finished in quarter 1 was our mammals unit from the Good and the Beautiful. It was definitely a top 5 favorite. I highly recommend that unit. I've done videos on it, so I won't go too far into detail about that here. But we really loved it, and so now we are going to completely switch gears and move into space. My kids are so excited to learn about space, and so I'm really excited to teach them that. Now, moving on to specific things that I wanted to mention. My 3 youngest kids are my 3 younger kids, so minus my oldest, are pretty much doing the same things they've always done, so there's not a lot to update there. They're all doing really well with everything they're working on. My oldest, however, had a lot of changes to her work, her curriculum choices and different things like that at the beginning of this school year, and so I do have a few things to share with you there regarding my oldest. So if this is the first video that you've seen, you might go back and catch up a little bit, but my oldest daughter is in 8th grade, and she, for the this year, one of the first things that I want to mention that I changed was she is doing a earth science class from BJU Press, and she's also doing a health and nutrition course from Apologia. The Apologia course is high school level, and the earth science is recommended for the 8th grade. So she's doing both of those things. Both of those things kind of fall under the science category, but she's wanted to learn more about health and different components of that. And then she wants to do earth science because she right now wants to pursue a scientific pathway, and so I'm supporting her in that. And she did need to take like a traditional earth science class before she was going to be able to do biology. So with all that to be said, I had it on her schedule, or her flow, which I did a whole video on as well, to be doing both of those things every day. However, that was just too much. So we have moved to doing health and science, or I'm sorry, we have moved to continuing to do science every single day, and we have used health 3 days a week. So we made a little adjustment to her schedule there, and that has really helped her not feel overwhelmed, and just, I could see it was a lot of like scientific stuff. And so we did that, and that seems to be working out. Another thing to touch on with that is that my kids, this is gonna sound really funny, maybe it won't, I don't know. My kids have never learned at home from a textbook. So like our course books from the Good and the Beautiful, I wouldn't consider those textbooks. I'm talking about the stuff that we had. I mean, obviously, unless you went to a private school, it wasn't Christian materials, but I'm just talking about a traditional textbook and like reading of a textbook, and then work or projects that go along with that. My kids have never used a textbook before. So there was a bit of a learning curve learning out of a textbook. The information is fantastic, but it's just like it's traditional textbook learning. And I'm talking about the Apologia Health and Nutrition course. So initially I thought, well, she's probably going to be able to read this, and it's very well laid out, so it's easily self-directed, but the information is just, it's a lot. And I think it depends on your kids too, but I have adjusted into thinking that health and nutrition would be an independent course that I would just verify and be there for asking questions and facilitating, to actually doing a lot of teaching from that course to make sure that the concepts and the stuff is like really retained. So I will say that Apologia Health and Nutrition course, She's fine with the material. She's great once she understands it, but I will say that I don't think it's a self-taught class unless maybe you're dealing with a senior in high school that has a lot of practice utilizing a textbook and understanding note-taking and quizzes and things like that. So I have moved that away from the independent work category and onto the mom does that with me category. So we are doing that together. Another thing to mention to you guys regarding my oldest daughter is a little tip or idea that I had that I feel like is really working out really well. So as you know, I share in live time here on my channel what I am discovering and learning as a homeschooling mom. I have never homeschooled an 8th grader before. This is my very first time. And so some of her work is done. It's a distance learning through BJU Press. And so I'm not teaching that. She is fully engaged in what she's doing, and that has been working really well for her for multiple reasons. However, I don't want to be completely hands off with all of her schoolwork. She does 3 classes with that, and then there's about 3 to 4 things that I'm still doing like hands-on with her. So I feel like it's a good happy medium for the 8th grade. I'm not ready to like let go of all of that yet and just like let her be completely independent. And I also don't think that she wants that yet either. I think that day will come, but we're not there yet. Anyway, back to the point. I wanted to make sure, you know, like, what do I do? Do I check her work every day? No, that's silly because it's recorded. It's all grade recorded for me. So what do I do? Like, you know, what should we do? So what I did was on Fridays at the end of the school day, I sit down with her and we basically just have a weekly check-in together. Of course, I'm making sure every day she's completing her work, but I'm talking about like we sit down together, we take some time, I talk about what she learned. What did you learn this week? Oh, I look over this stuff, or, you know, it's just very impromptu. Oh, what did you like that in Spanish? Or how was that video? Or what did you think of that? Or, you know, isn't that interesting? And then we just verify how she's doing. So I will have her pull up her grades on the distance learning from BJU. And I want to make sure that you guys understand, if you're new to homeschooling, that I'm not talking about distance learning through a school district. This is a private homeschooling curriculum company, a Christian company that has both options. So anyways, and we just look over the grades and we talk about things, and that little weekly check-in has become something that I know she's really enjoying. I can see it in her face. And she's just like excited to tell me about all the things. And of course we're talking every day, so nobody come for me in the comments, but I've just set aside that extra time for her at the end of the week where we go over everything together and we talk about anything that needs to be addressed. Like maybe we should have taken better notes on that. Maybe we should have looked here. Let's make sure we don't do that again. And then also praise, you know, that is awesome. So cool. Love that. And it's just been a really good thing. So I think we're going to definitely continue with the weekly check-ins as we head into the second quarter. And the last thing I wanted to update on my 8th grader is the book study from The Good and the Beautiful on The Touch of Magic, the story of Helen Keller. She has absolutely adored that book. So even if you don't use The Good and the Beautiful for anything else, if you want your kiddo to really enjoy an amazing book, I highly recommend that. She's loved it. In fact, so much I'm going to read it when she's done, and she's almost done. So that is what we did in quarter 1. We also went on a few family vacations, and we bought our travel trailer, of course. So we haven't really done any specific like homeschool related field trips yet. We had a back to school party with our friends. We've gone to the park. We've gone swimming. We've done things, but probably like no specific educational field trips yet, because things are still just kind of funny. So that's okay. We've been having a lot of fun traveling in our travel trailer, and we did do some nature studying. We're getting into like the best weather where we live, and so I'm really looking forward to being outside doing a lot more nature study with the kids in quarter 2 once the temperatures cool off. And I'm just excited to continue this journey this year, it started off so well that I found myself asking, like, am I doing something wrong? Like, did I forget a subject? Why is this so smooth? Because as I end this update, I want to tell you guys that at first I thought it was a fluke. We were done every day by like 1 o'clock. I'm like, there is no way that this is the case with kids as old as mine, you know, in 8th grade, 7th grade. There's no way. Well, we are done. We are done by 1 to 2 every day, and that is taking an hour, 35, 45, an hour, sometimes lunch break in the middle. And it has been wonderful. Like, we're just in a really good rhythm and routine, and it's just been really good. So I hope we can keep up our motivation and our intensity for the second quarter, and I will be back to share a little update at the end of quarter 2 with you guys. So if you have any questions for me, post them down in the comments below. Anything at all related to homeschooling, I'll be happy to answer. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to this chatty update, and if you did, I would love it if you left me a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.